My name is Hayden, and if you're watching this review, then I am officially a high school graduate. Now, granted, as of the time of recording this, I'm still in school. By the time this video goes public, I will have already tap danced my ass on stage and retrieved and received my long-deserved diploma. Consider that my reasoning for covering this random 80s slasher film that nobody's heard of.
I was considering covering the similarly formatted final exam for my end of high school video, but opted for this one because, well, it seems to be lost in the shuffle with all the other slashers released in 1981. You know, Friday the 13th Part 2, The Prowler, Happy Birthday to Me, The Funhouse, Dark Night of the Scarecrow,
6.5 hours later,
Halloween 2, The Burning, My Bloody Valentine, and of course the subject of today's video, Graduation Day. Graduation Day is a 1981 slasher film that was released to satisfy the bloodlust of newly born slasher fans in the early 80s after the success of films like Halloween and Friday the 13th.
Personally, I think the film is underrated. It's not a fantastic movie, but it's a fun slasher that gets me excited to be a high school graduate.
Graduation Day was directed by former rabbi Herb Fried. Fried wasn't super into being a rabbi, so his wife convinced him to get into film. Old Herbie Boy directed a few movies before Graduation Day, but the only one that I found to be notable was Beyond Evil in 1980, which is also a criminally underrated film. Fried got together with his wife, Anne Maurice, who worked on him with Beyond Evil, to write a screenplay for what would become Graduation Day. Fried would take up the mantle as director and begin production in late 1980. The film would be released in the spring of 1981 and made a damn mint at the box office, bringing in $24 million on a $250,000 budget. Hot damn! Critics were very harsh on the movie, no surprise there.
Come on, it was the 1980s. Slashers were all the rage, and Siskel and Ebert were pissy about it.
Modern critics don't fare much better with the film, currently having a 57% on the mediocre Rotten Tomatoes and a 4.8 out of 10 on IMDb. However, some slasher fans have given this film a warm embrace and hold it as the cult classic that it deserves to be.
So enough with the foreplay. After all, there are 200 seniors at Midvale High and 7 days till graduation. The class of 81 is running out of time.
The film opens with a funky, flashy montage of high school activities. Shit goes downhill really damn fast though, 30 seconds as a matter of fact, when a track student named Laura Ramstead fucking dies from cardiac arrest right after winning a race.
Wow, she must have been really excited. Laura's death is unsurprisingly the inciting incident to this movie, and no, it wasn't just added to beef up a body count. This would be a really lame kill if it was.
The film then cuts to 2 months later, where a lone woman is riding in a truck with a rapey truck driver, because horror movie. Too bad for the truck driver, she doesn't take shit from anyone and gives the guy a taste of cock and ball torture. He ain't too into it though. This is Anne Ramstead, the older sister of Laura, that chick who bit the big one in the opening. She's a U.S. Navy officer who comes to Midvale High to take part in the 1981 graduation ceremony, where her late sister will be honored. After spotting a lone jogger on the side of the road, Anne insists to be let out of the truck.
Not suspicious at all.
This is Paula. She was one of Laura's teammates on the track team. Not that any of that's important, because after her glove hand starts the stopwatch, you already know she's probably gonna die. The unseen killer grabs Paula and slashes her off screen, and it only took him 30 seconds.
Expect to see that more often.
Despite her kill being kinda lame, I do like the streak of red on camera when the killer stabs her. It was a nice touch. The film then cuts to another montage where students are hanging around in rain poncho-looking caps and gowns doing their graduation stuff. We then meet the rest of the track team, who are waiting for Paula to come back from her little jog so that they can take a photo for the newspaper.
Hate to break it to you guys, but I don't think Paula had a totem of undying on her.
Let's get back to Anne. She makes a quick stop at her parents' house where her mom is nothing more than happy to see her, but her dad's pissy about her being gone.
Yeah, fuck you, Anne. Fuck you for going overseas to serve your country, you stupid bitch.
Anne makes a pit stop in her dead sister's room and opens a bag revealing... gloves and a gray sweatshirt?
Hold on. That's what the killer was wearing. Do you know what this means?
Her bag is the killer! Run for your life, Anne! Thankfully, her dad stops to pay a quick visit.
Phew. I thought I was in danger.
You're still the same big-mouth, self-centered bitch you were the day you left here.
Oh, well, never mind. I think you should have taken your chances with the killer bag.
You see, Ronald's mad that she left for the Navy and is coming back only after her sister died, because he thinks that she's just shown up to take the insurance money and the trophy Laura won during that race seen in the opening. The film then cuts to a dark locker room where a lipstick-wielding sociopath crosses off Paula's face on the track team class picture. Okay, lipstick. That's gotta be a clue.
So that means that the killer must be... a drag queen!
Who's most likely to be a drag queen? Well, it's not this Laurie Strode wannabe the killer is currently stalking. Fortunately for her, she meets Anne, who all of a sudden looks completely different and is acting like a total fucking creep.
That's beautiful. You have lovely eyes.
Not concerning at all.
So this is a graduation day horror movie, so let's get to the graduation day stuff. All of the students are wasting away in a graduation assembly.
Which is factually the most boring thing I've ever done in school, and I've taken 5 algebra classes.
Rightfully so, all of the students are very excited when they're dismissed.
What a realistic portrayal of an American school. All it's missing are stolen toilets and people smoking in the bathroom.
Anne goes to a house with an address she got from Laura's old boyfriend Kenny. In the house, she stumbles across a school photo of her sister and it gives her seizure-inducing flashbacks. The two bond for a little bit and Anne gives Kevin one of Laurie's old medals before the film decides to cut back to the Laurie Strode wannabe, Sally. She provides the movie's mandatory titty shot, the killer plays a goof on her, and her 2 friends show up to jump scare her for gits and shiggles.
What did you come sneaking in like that for? What are you doing?
She rushes off to do a gymnastics routine for the newspaper, but pussies out and pays the ultimate price for it when the killer shows up and gives her a little prick.
With a fencing sword.
The scene of Sally doing her gymnastics routine is incredibly drawn out and ultimately means nothing, especially since she dies literally 30 seconds after.
At least the kill was pretty good in execution. This is why nobody comes over anymore.
I'm gonna do us all a favor and skip the part where the music teacher motorboats one of his students.
You'll thank me later.
But I won't skip the part where the principal very poorly cuts an apple with a knife and shows off his knife collection.
Not for any particular reason. I'm sure this is normal.
Mr. Roberts, the aforementioned music teacher, decides to investigate a strange noise coming from the boiler room, like all smart slasher characters do, and surprisingly, he doesn't die.
Huh. Subversive.
A couple of track kids get caught smoking in the woods by Officer McGregor, played by former boxing champion Virgil Fry. He's revealed to be a total fucking hypocrite when he starts smoking a joint right after busting kids for doing the same.
Hey jackass, just say no.
After what feels like 12 years, we get back to Anne's little story, where she finally confronts Coach George Michaels, played by former TV star and Grizzly actor Christopher George. You see, Anne blames Coach Michaels for Laura's death, saying that Coach pushed her too hard to win the race and caused her cardiac arrest. The coach is a sympathetic character. Clearly being a good teacher and caring for his students, he was just a guy who had the world turn on him because of an accident that wasn't his fault, which feels a lot like Corey Cunningham's story in Halloween Ends. Coach Michaels is my favorite character, just because his story is kinda sad, having the blame put on him for what was an accident. After Anne yells at the coach, we cut back to a football player and track kid, Ralph, played by Carl Ray. Ralph's just doing a bit of running and playing with a football when 2 of his classmates, Doris and Joanna, decide to play a quick game of Monkey in the Middle. Too bad for Ralph though, because these ladies suck at Monkey in the Middle and toss Ralph's ball into the bushes. They run off like assholes, leaving Ralph to go find his ball. Don't worry, he finds it about 30 seconds later, lodged in his fucking stomach. Touchdown!
Want to know the best thing to witness after a violent murder?
Some sweet licks from a harmonica, hell yeah. After a montage of more graduation activities, we cut to another montage, but this time it's a roller skating party.
What? Derivative? I don't even know the meaning of the word.
After like 5 minutes, we find Tony and Dolores making a little whoopee in the woods, but the two don't realize when the music starts to go sour.
Which is a historically accurate sign that a killer is nearby. Haven't you ever played Dead by Daylight?
Tony tries to take a piss, but the killer ends up helping him drain a different head. Dolores isn't too far behind because after a pretty fun chase scene backed by some 80s rock, she gets slashed off screen with the typical 30-second timer. The next day, the principal is informed that Tony, for some reason, didn't make it home last night, and like the responsible man he is, he shows very little concern for their well-being.
As I said, an accurate depiction of American high schools.
Oh yeah, he also gets a call from Ralph's parents. Man, this principal sure has his work cut out for him. The remaining surviving seniors all gather up to take pictures.
Wait a sec. The poster said there were 200 seniors at this school, and I only count 12 to 14 in this shot. Where are the other 75 plus? Are they all sick? Did the killer already get them? That's the real question of this movie.
We now return to principal shenanigans, where this time Guglione quite literally tells his secretary to lie to all the concerned parents about their kids.
I'm not here, Blondie. Period. Tell them jokes. Tell them lies. Tell those damn parents whatever you want to, but tell them to stop bugging me. You got that? Good.
And as it turns out, he did it right in front of a cop, Officer Halliday.
What do you want? Inspector Halliday. police.
What a dumbass.
After the two meander around campus for a bit, the film decides to catch up with Pete, who's gonna do a pole vault. How exciting! But Pete forgot the #1 rule of pole vaulting. Look before you leap. Halliday meets up with Coach Michaels to talk about the disappearances, only to learn that Michaels had been fired due to the negative publicity surrounding Laura's death. As Michaels is packing up his stuff, we find that he has a stopwatch!
Gasp! The coach of the track team has a stopwatch? This is completely out of the ordinary!
Meanwhile, Doris, not to be confused with Dolores, and Joanne discover Sally's body in a locker. Their screams attract Coach Michaels, who, in the most suspicious way possible, stares at the two and barges into the girls' locker room.
You aren't a coach anymore, Michaels! You can't do things like this!
The girls run off to get help as Kevin comes in to see Michaels in a pretty incriminating spot, automatically accusing the old man of being the killer and assaulting him in the locker room. Michaels gets away as Kevin is left bruised and bemused in the locker room, as Halliday and Ann show up to discover the photo of the track team with their faces crossed off. All except Kevin. Kevin chases after Michaels into the woods, where they have a final confrontation and chase where Michaels ends up in a bit of a final girl circuit, where he finds the body of Ralph. Kevin catches up and blames Michael and the entire track team for the death of Laura, while admitting to killing all the kids.
You killed Laura. You all killed her.
You killed Sally?
Sally, Ralph, Diane, Paula, Tony, Pete!
So yeah, Kevin was the killer. Not Ann, not the coach, but Kevin, the psycho boyfriend.
He then explains the whole stopwatch thing. You see, Laura died 30 seconds after she started the race, so Kevin killed everyone 30 seconds after he started the stopwatch. Kevin tries in a last-ditch effort to kill Michaels, but forgets that he's a 180-pound high schooler and the coach is, well, a coach, and rightfully gets his ass handed to them. But Officer Halliday shows up and sees this as evidence of Michael being the killer and pops a couple caps in his ass.
So yeah, Kevin lives and Michaels takes the fall, but we're not totally out of the woods yet.
Because Anne starts to become suspicious after Kevin lies to the secretary to get Laura's track trophy that she won earlier. Anne goes to Kevin's house to confront him about his little scandal, but finds something much worse. Laura's corpse in a cap and gown in Kevin's room. Kevin shows up for another killer monologue complaining how the track team took Laura away from him.
Kevin is a fucking lunatic is what I'm trying to say.
He's so far gone that now he's talking about marrying Laura's rotten corpse.
It's not that romantic if Tim Burton isn't involved.
After Anne denies Kevin's request to kiss Laura's dead body, because of course she does, she throws Kevin and her sister's dead body out the window. Laura runs as if her life depends on it, which, you know, it might not. That seemed like a pretty gnarly fall. While she's running, she eventually starts having flashbacks of her sister's death. You know, the event she didn't witness. She sits down to have a rest and finally get some damn peace and quiet. Oh, god damn it, Kevin! They have a shitty-looking scuffle that leads to Anne stumbling upon Pete's pin-cushioned body. And in a final attempt to shatter Kevin's fragile mental state, she throws the fucker back onto Pete's corpse, impaling him.
Savage as fuck!
After murdering her little sister's ex, she goes back home to sleep, instead of going down to the police station to give a statement. In typical slasher affairs, she hallucinates the dead killer. But it just turns out to be a different kind of horror. A drunken father figure. The next day, Anne skips town, passing by the graduation day sign, ending off the film with a mostly happy ending.
So that was Graduation Day, an early 80s slasher that's very emblematic of the subgenre's tropes back in the day, but the film still offers a solid mystery that keeps you guessing, some solid kills, and some characters that you can at least mark off as likable.
I give Graduation Day 4 stopwatches out of 5.
Join me next time when I'll hopefully cover Creepshow 2, one of the most overlooked horror movie sequels of all time. Until then, have a nice day, and congratulations, class of 23. It's been an honor.